Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes is regarded by some as one of the, if not the best Marvel cartoon of all time. And I gotta say, I agree with that. It's definitely up there for me with the Spider-Man animated series from the 1990s. This is the definitive version of the Avengers for me, at least in cartoons and comics. Of course, the MCU Avengers will always be my OG. But whenever I read the comics, I hear the voice actors from this cartoon. And this first episode focusing on Iron Man is really the Iron Man cartoon that we all wish we had back in 2010. When Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes was first being made, the only two MCU movies out were Iron Man 1 and The Incredible Hulk. So they were really not going off of a lot of MCU stuff. They were only going off of the comics and Robert Downey Jr.'s performance in the Iron Man film. And right at the get-go of this episode, we see that, yes, this is a very RDJ-derived Tony Stark adaptation with some comic flair in there, but also some kids' cartoon kind of toning down a little bit and making him a little bit more idealistic maybe than the Robert Downey Jr. version is in the actual film. Now, of course, this episode also introduces us to Rhodey, Pepper, Nick Fury, Maria Hill, all of them. We see the individual dynamics that Tony has with each of them, the kind of back and forth that he has with Pepper, the disagreements that he has with Rhodey, and the strong tensions between himself, Nick Fury, Maria Hill, and basically S.H.I.E.L.D. as a whole. So we see that. We see his mission very much as it is in Iron Man 1. Stop the bad guys who have taken his technology. And it's presented very well in this very fun action sequence at the United Nations where Iron Man is just going up against these giant Hydra robots, kicking ass, using repulsor technology, using all these different Iron Man weapons at his disposal, and it's just absolutely a blast to watch. I just actually rewatched this episode for the purpose of this review, and I gotta say, I had a lot of fun watching it. It's just a really fun Iron Man story. And that's what these first 5 episodes of Avengers Mightiest Heroes are. They are little self-contained stories tied to a bigger universe that really shows who they are and what their MO is leading up to this big formation of the Avengers. So this episode is a lot of fun. It's just that Iron Man cartoon that we wish we'd had in 2010. And Eric Loomis does a fantastic version of Tony Stark. He is, as I said before, the definitive version of Tony Stark for me in comics and in the cartoons. He is the voice that I hear when I read the character in the books. He is just, he does his own thing a little bit. He derives from Robert Downey Jr. a bit, but he also puts his own spin on it, and he adds a little bit more idealism, like I said, to the character because it is still a children's cartoon. Speaking beyond that, we do have the little tease at the end of the episode with Nick Fury and Maria Hill going to the vault and the fight between Nick Fury, Baron Strucker, and the Grim Reaper, all that cool stuff. And that's setting up the future for the eventual catalyst that will cause the formation of the Avengers. So Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Iron Man is Born, episode number 1. It's a very strong start to the series. And it's a very solid, self-contained story that ties in to a greater narrative.